Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to get into the science of what makes a kitchen truly clean. And let me tell you, what you see on the surface, well, that's only half the story.
I want to start with a pretty bold statement from our source material. Your kitchen is lying to you. Yeah, you wipe down the counters, you sweep the floor, you think, hey, it's clean. But right under your nose, beneath that shiny surface, there's a whole microscopic world of grime that's just taking over.
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. See, surface cleaning, that's just for looks. It's about aesthetics. It's a temporary fix. But deep cleaning, that's about restoration. It's a real investment in the health and, frankly, the value of your kitchen.
So let's start with the stuff you can't even see. Because this, right here, is where the real battle for a clean kitchen is actually won or lost.
The number one enemy here is something called biofilm. You could think of it as this slimy, protective shield that bacteria literally build around themselves to create a safe little fortress. And your standard cleaning sprays? Most of them just slide right over the top, barely even making a dent.
And this slide shows the single biggest mistake that most of us make. We spray and we immediately wipe. That is the wrong way to do it. To actually beat that biofilm, your cleaner needs what the pros call dwell time. You have to let it sit, let it soak, let it penetrate that shield before you wipe all those germs away. You're still not convinced? Okay, try this little experiment next time you're in your kitchen. Carefully get a chair and just run your finger across the very top of your cabinets. That sticky, gross film up there, that's not just dust. Oh no, it's airborne cooking oil that's actually fused with dust particles, creating this tacky glue that a simple duster has zero chance against.
And you know, this grime doesn't just live on the surfaces. It gets deep inside what you could almost call the internal organs of your kitchen, your appliances.
Your refrigerator is the perfect example. On the back or bottom, it has these coils that act like a lung, breathing air to cool things down. But when those coils get clogged with dust and pet hair and all that gunk, the motor has to work twice as hard. It's basically suffocating. And that can shorten a fridge's lifespan from, say, 20 years all the way down to just 7. And then we have the oven. You know, so many of us rely on that magic self-clean button, but honestly, it's a huge gamble. The crazy high heat it generates can literally fry the electronic control board, and that is a very, very expensive repair. A good old-fashioned manual deep clean is just safer, and it works better too.
This brings us to what I like to call the great paradox of the modern kitchen, the dishwasher. I mean, we all make the same assumption. Its whole job is to clean things, so the machine itself must be clean, right?
Yeah, no, wrong.
The hard reality is your dishwasher can be a total breeding ground for mold and yeast, especially in those rubbery door seals. And the filter down at the bottom, it can trap tiny food particles that just rot and then get recirculated and sprayed all over your supposedly clean dishes. And you know that cloudy film you get on your glasses? That's often just hard water buildup, a dead giveaway that the machine itself is desperate for a deep clean.
Okay, so we've tackled the appliances. Now let's talk about the surfaces they're sitting on, because you gotta know, different materials play by completely different rules when it comes to deep cleaning. Let's look at two super common ones. If you have natural stone, like granite or marble, acid is your mortal enemy. One little wipe with something acidic, like vinegar, can permanently etch the surface. It's called etching. The solution? You have to use a pH-neutral cleaner. And for stainless steel, the big secret to avoiding all those streaks and smudges is to always wipe with the grain of the metal, not against it. It makes all the difference.
All right, we've covered the obvious surfaces and the big appliances. Now, let's go hunting for the grime in the places that almost everyone misses.
Let's start from the bottom up. Your baseboards, over time, they collect a literal crust of grime. The grout between your floor tiles, well, it acts like a hard sponge, just soaking up dirty mop water until it turns black. And way up top, the filter inside your range hood is probably clogged solid with grease, which means it's not doing its job of trapping smoke and oil anymore. So you see, the real difference between a kitchen that just looks clean on the surface and one that is truly, deeply restored, it is all in the details. And hey, here's one more super powerful, totally actionable tip for you. Please throw out your kitchen sponges. The source material literally calls them bacterial hotels. The right tool for the job is a good set of microfiber cloths that you can just toss in the wash on high heat after every use. So how often should you really be tackling a project this big? Well, the pros recommend a full top-to-bottom deep clean 2 to 4 times a year. The best way to think about it is like a dental cleaning.
You brush your teeth every day, right? But you still need to go to the hygienist a couple of times a year to handle the really tough stuff. Same idea.
So I guess the final question is this. For months, maybe even for years, your kitchen has been quietly telling a story of buildup and hidden grime. But now that you know what's possible, what story do you want it to tell tomorrow?